All right, let's talk about the biggest story in tech and finance right now, the AI boom. It is absolutely wild. And to really get a handle on the sheer scale of what's happening, you have to start with one single jaw-dropping number.
$150 billion. That's how much cash venture capitalists shoveled into AI startups in 2025, alone. I mean, it's a number so big, it makes pretty much every other tech boom in history look like a rounding error.
And just to put that into perspective for you, this wasn't just some popular niche for investors. No. For a while there, it was the only game in town. 40% of all VC money on the planet was chasing this one single idea. That kind of focus, it's unheard of.
Which, brings us to the big question, the one we're going to unpack today. Are we actually watching the foundation of our future being built, a real technological revolution? Or are we just watching the biggest financial bubble in history get inflated, ready to pop? We're going to look at both sides of this very, very expensive coin.
So here's how we'll do it. We'll look at the case for revolution, then the flip side, the case for a bubble. Then we'll dig into the massive hardware problem, and finally try to come to some kind of verdict. Okay, first up, let's hear from the believers, the revolutionaries, the people who say, hey, this isn't just another trend. This is a fundamental shift, on the same level as the internet itself.
And their argument really starts with the titans of this new world. We're talking about companies that have hit valuations so massive, so fast, that they don't follow the old rules.
And just look at these numbers. I mean, come on. OpenAI at $500 billion, xAI raising $20 billion in one go. These aren't just little startups anymore. They're becoming genuine economic forces. And look who's backing them. The biggest, smartest money in the game. Microsoft, NVIDIA, Google. The whole crew is here.
So here's the key argument for the revolution side. This stuff is already being used. It's not some dream about the future. It's being plugged deep into the world's biggest companies right now, powering everything from how you talk to customer service to how new drugs are discovered. It's becoming essential plumbing.
But okay, let's flip the coin. Let's talk to the skeptics, the people who look at all this frenzy and see the classic signs of a bubble. They think we're building a beautiful palace but on a foundation of sand.
And their whole argument really hinges on the shaky global economy. You see, for the last year, everyone has been praying for this thing called a soft landing. It's just Wall Street talk for trying to slow things down without crashing the whole plane. It's like trying to thread a tiny, tiny needle, and it's really, really hard to pull off.
And here's the problem in a nutshell. The world's economies are all going in different directions. Asia's still growing okay, but the US and Europe, they're really slowing down. So you've got this fragile, uneven global picture and this massive, coordinated investment boom happening right on top of it. It's a mismatch.
I mean, the warning lights are flashing all over the dashboard, right? You've got companies raising billions of dollars before they even have a product to sell. Inflation is still stubbornly high, which means interest rates are probably going to stay high too. And when you put it all together, most analysts agreed the risk of a big market correction is pretty high. People are making these huge bets on giant future profits in an economy that looks anything but certain.
All right, now for a reality check. Because this whole digital revolution has a very real, very physical, and very expensive supply chain problem. This isn't just about clever code. It's about silicon. And there's that number again, $500 billion. That's NVIDIA's recorded order backlog for its AI chips through 2026. It represents the insane amount of money companies are desperately trying to spend on the gear they need to build this AI future.
But here's the thing, it's one thing to want $500 billion worth of computer chips. It's another thing entirely to actually make them, assemble them, and get them enough electricity to run. The demand is crystal clear. The supply, well, that is a huge question mark.
Yeah, this shortage is basically a three-headed monster. First, you can't get enough of this special, super fast memory that chips need. Second, the factories that do the incredibly complex job of packaging them are running at 100% capacity. They literally can't make them any faster. And third, and this is the ironic part, even if you get the chips, you might not have enough power from the grid to actually turn your shiny new data center on.
And what's really wild is who's buying all this stuff. It is so concentrated. Get this, just 4 giant companies, the hyperscalers like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Meta, they account for over 60% of all the demand. Just 4. And that concentration, well, that creates a massive risk. Think about it. If just one of those 4 giants taps the brakes on their spending, maybe the economy gets weird, maybe they just feel like they've built enough for now, the ripple effect could shake the whole system. The entire market could catch a very, very nasty cold.
Okay, so we've seen the argument for a world-changing revolution, and we've seen the argument for a classic financial bubble, all teetering on a fragile supply chain. So let's try to pull these two stories together and figure out where we land.
And here's the most important takeaway, the thing that makes this moment so interesting and so dangerous. It's that both things can be true at the same time. We are almost certainly watching a real, transformative technological revolution happen in real time. But it's a revolution being paid for by what looks and smells and feels exactly like a classic, hype-fueled financial bubble.
So in the end, it's not a simple yes or no. The tech is real, it's going to change things. The money is real, it's going to build incredible stuff. The real gamble here is about timing and valuation and who can actually pull it off. Because when the hype inevitably cools down and meets the cold, hard reality of profits and physical limits, well, the fallout from that collision will define the next decade of tech and finance. And that's the billion or maybe even trillion-dollar question, isn't it?